Hey, welcome back to Turntable Guy. On the bench today we have a Sanyo TP-1010. This is a medium, middle of the line kind of quality turntable, but from back in the day. I'm going to say late 70s here. Sanyo is a brand that got a lot of grief back in the day. And I think it has a lot to do with the fact that if you look at the word Sanyo, you can see S-O-N-Y, Sony, right? But Sanyo was not Sony, and Sanyo was not an offshoot of Sony. I believe Sony eventually did purchase the rights to the brand. It may have transferred to a Chinese company today, but yeah, what Sanyo is really known for is OEM parts. They made a lot of chips, whole bunch of stuff like that. They supplied OEMs with parts back in the day, and then they obviously did foray into the hi-fi world and other electronics. Never really got a lot of respect. Now, was it because their products were cheap? I don't know. Tough to say. They did make some really good quality receivers back in the day. Then they bought the Fisher brand from the US and started branding a lot of their equipment as Fisher as well, studio standard. You might have seen that as well. But this turntable here is not too bad. It's mostly plastic, pretty lightweight, but it does have decent performance and good features, and the arm is actually good quality. This is a classic example of a turntable that's never been serviced, other than probably a belt. Just about every, I've already had a look at it, every control and dial is stiff. The pitch controls don't move. You really got to reef on them to get them to move. The needles and cartridge are original, and just stuff like that, right? And another thing that we're going to try to repair today is, does this come out? Yes, it does. The queuing has lost its damping fluid. So if you lift it and you drop it, it goes straight down, and then it lifts up and jerks. That means that there's no damping fluid left. So we'll have a peek at that as well, and see if we can get that replaced. But yeah, in the meantime, let's just have a quick look to make sure it's spinning correctly. I believe it is. The owner said that everything's working right. He's used it up until the moment he brought it to me. The pitch controls are definitely stiff. You can barely move them, but it's holding speed. Ooh, nope. This 33 control is crazy bad. Oh yeah, this is horrible. So these have to be cleaned. Nothing crazy, right? Nothing that's not fixable. Let's just check auto return. Yeah, so it's auto returning. That's good. Starting and stopping, right? Hopefully your automatic shut off. Yeah, so looks good. It's a belt drive, and it was out in the garage, and it's really cold here today, so I've got a little bit of condensation. Ooh, the belt seems really tight. It's okay, but it does feel pretty tight. Motor is a little noisy, but that could just be the way it is. Once you put the belt on them, a lot of times they quiet down. So we're going to take this belt off. It looks relatively new. Oh yeah, this is very new. So won't have to service that very much. And you can see the remnants of where a belt probably died here back in the day. And then people, you know, what they do is they either find these in an attic or a closet or something, and they turn it on, and obviously the belt's like melted, the original belt, and then they go out, they buy a belt, and that's all they do. You have a peek here. We've got 45 and 33 potentiometers for fine speed control. to dial in the pitch controls here. These are more needed when you only have one pitch control and you want to get them at the same position on the pitch, kind of like an SLD2 like we just did. That's when it really comes in handy. This center spindle is very gummy, very sticky. Yeah, this needs to service really good. Yeah, it's got the original 45 adapter, which is nice. So, and the cartridge is, I wonder if it's an original Sanyo. Who knows? I'll give that a cleaning. You can see diamond on it. I don't know what condition it's in, but it's dirty. So we'll service that. He asked me, you know, can you recommend a needle or something? And so I'll recommend to him probably, you might want to change this out because you're not going to find, I mean, you might find a needle for it. There's a number right on there, ST10J. And I'm sure a quick search on Google will come up with a stylus for that. It could be perfectly fine, but you know, I'd recommend going with like an AT3600L or maybe an AT-VM95 series. Probably the C or the E model for this table. And like I said, kind of lightweight, but we'll get it flipped over. And we'll start our service. And we'll start with pitch controls. And we'll start with having a look at that arm and making sure we can hopefully repair that cueing issue. So, get that lined up. I got a lot of screws, and take these off, and I'll be right back. All right, screws are out. You do not have to remove these 5. So when I said it, you know, it's built to a price point, very thin, very El Cheapo cardboard base. It's got shielding for the Tonearm though, which is nice. And Tonearm wires are right over here. But, you know, this is very flimsy. And here we go. That's what's inside. And let me just move this back just a little bit. So nothing too exciting here. Here's our spindle. Here's our pitch controls over here. Nice and accessible, which is awesome. Speed switch. Those are the 2 potentiometers I mentioned. Got a couple capacitors here on the motor control. And got our main. Ooh, that's interesting. This is plugged in. There you go, dumbass. Okay, I'm glad I did that. So that's our main actuator switch there, the micro switch. I'm surprised there's absolutely no lubrication on this. I'll put a little bit of grease on that. And what I want to look for is our cueing. And how much of a nightmare. Oh, it's not too bad. It's under this. So we're going to have to remove this arm to get to it. But let's do our quick service on our pitch controls and stuff like that first. So right here, they're so tight that we're probably gonna have to really lubricate them. Now this neutral stuff here, it's got a lubricant in it, but I think I've run out. Damn. I'm out of neutral. That sucks. All right. I do have some deoxit around here. Let me grab that. I'll be right back. Well, there we go. Look what I got here. I have got some fader lube and some D5. So F5 and D5. And I usually buy this stuff and before I actually need it, because ever since people started servicing their own stuff, holy crap, they make it impossible to get out of here. This stuff is like gold, and it's tough to find. Sometimes you have to actually order it from your local store because they can't keep it in stock. And the prices have gone up. because prices for everything have gone up. And I really think the retail world is taking advantage of the consumer something fierce since COVID. But anyway, F5 is great for like, well, it's what it's for. It's faders. So use your D5 on switches. So we'd be using the D5 on like the 3345 switch. And the F5 is great for like bass controls, volume, a Technics SL1200 pitch control. And we'll use the F5 on these because it's a little bit better on carbon as well. There's been some reports that the D5 might actually affect carbon. So we'll use the F5 on this. If I can get this stupid thing in here. Okay, here we go. Spring. There you go. And then, this is awesome. You don't even have to, wow, that worked fast. You don't even have to turn the table over. Just, you're going to work these back and forth and let the F5 get in there and do its thing. But I am going to go to my local electronics store and I'm going to order another can of Neutral because that is one of my absolute favorite cleaners for electronics. It's really good. So I just work these back and forth. And the deoxit will clean off the oxidation. And you hopefully won't have any more pitch issues up top. Okay. All good. Now, our D5 is great for switches and just cleaning dirty metal, really. I use this stuff on electrical receptacles. You know, when you try to plug something in it, and the plug's really sticky. A little shot of this, and it works awesome. Now this one is super loose. The spray nozzle, that's really annoying. Okay, so on the switch here, there's a little hole right on the top, and you just want to give that a little shot right here. Just like that. And this one we're going to have to get from underneath. Good. And what I like about these ones, there's another style where it's like a trigger. It sucks. Get these ones and just turn it to low. I should have did that on this one as well. Does this one even work? Oh, there it is. Okay. Low, high, low. Okay. I'll just keep these here. Might need them again. Okay. So that is that. And just allowing that fader lube to sit for a little while. These are so much easier to turn now. Much better. Good. Okay, we'll adjust that later. Now, continue on with our service here. We're going to check the caps on this thing. I don't know if they use Sanyo caps. No, they didn't. They used Rubicon. So these are probably just fine. I know it was keeping speed fine, but I'm just gonna check. Can you remove this board? Yeah, there's only one screw. I'm gonna check these two caps just for the hell of it. There's just two of them, so I mean, really, you should be checking for ESR, but so it's coming at 400. So I don't even know what this one's rated at. Let's just remove this stupid thing here. It's rated at 330, so that's coming in quite a bit higher. I might think about changing that actually. And we have a 100 at 16 right here. See that? Just check that one. Okay, that could be in series or in parallel with another component. So I'm going to change these just because this is a little high. Now I don't know if they could be in line with these two potentiometers, but I'm gonna yank them. And first of all, the negative's marked. Okay, negative's marked, and it is correct. So let me pull these out, and then we'll give them a quick measure. Just hang on one sec. Okay, they're pulled. Let's check them. This is the 100. Come on, get in there. So this one's fine. It's coming in at 118. ESR is at 0.5. And the big one, hang on here, what's going on? Okay, so ESR is good on this one, but the capacitance has really risen. It's at 395, so that could mean it's starting to die, right? So let's pull them. It's just 2 caps. It's not a lot of work. There you go. There's a 330 at 25. I want to show you a 330 at 25 in today's modern capacitors. There you go. 330 at 25. And here's the 100 at 16. And I'm just going to put 100 at 25 in there. Quite a bit different, eh? How products have changed in the last 50 or so years. And we won't have to bend this one over like the last one. Just put it in kind of flat like that. Okay, well done. And that'll ensure, you know, that hopefully the speed stays stable because the caps aren't going to drift around. There we go. Okay. And these I will return to the customer so he knows the work was performed. All right, so shall we do our main spindle? I think we can grab this puppy from the bottom, or does that have to come out through the top? Let's just unscrew it from here and see what happens. I don't remember how this one's serviced. There we go. Coming. It's a bit different. Whoops. There we go. It's no ball bearing because the end is rounded. There's no pressure relief hole. You know, it's not bad, I have to say. Whatever's on it is a very light lubricant. But we're going to service it anyway. It's clean. That's probably the nicest bearing I've seen come out of a turntable this age. Maybe it was serviced at one point. Who knows, right? So just a little bit of alcohol and a paper towel. Just clean off the shaft here. There's your lubricant. It felt gummy to me when I was spinning it. It's in really good condition. So maybe this was serviced, or maybe Sanyo used a really good quality oil back in the day. Okay, again, just a Q-tip, cotton swab, a little bit of alcohol on there, and we're just going to clean out the bearing well here. Well, this is a little dirtier. So I'm going to guess that this has not been serviced, and that it's just a case of the manufacturer using a good quality lubricant back in the day, because that's pretty dirty. It's squeaky clean now, though. Bye-bye. Okay. Let's just have a look-see here. We're going to put this in there. And even, you know, just putting it in without any lubrication requires a hell of a push. This is a good quality bearing. Because there's no pressure relief valve. So we're going to have to put the lightest amount of oil in this thing. And I think this is a really good bearing. It's very tight tolerance. So I'm going to use super light Singer machine oil for this, because I think anything tighter and I'll never be able to get this back in, or at least it's going to have to sit for an hour. So this is a Singer. Do I have the can somewhere here? Here it is. This is what I'm using here. Mechanics, electronics, heavy instruments, sewing machines, bicycles, hand tools, home appliances, joints, and hinges. I think I ordered this from like Thailand or something. Back in December it was manufactured December 2015. It's oil, and well, shouldn't go bad. All right, just a couple drops in the bottom. And that might even be too much. And I'm just going to put a light smear here, like that. And we're just going to kind of turn it, put it in. Oh my God, this is impossible to work with. And that's not bad, actually. But there, can you see the air bubbles coming out? I don't know if you saw that or not. As I pushed down, it was like two big shots of air bubbles coming up. This one might have to sit for a little while. I think that's it. Oh, that's nice. There we go. Yeah, we're good now. That's it. Oh no, you know what I just thought of? I think I'm gonna have to, oh shit. I'm gonna have to do this again. Dum-dum. Has to come in from the top. Okay, let me pause. I'm gonna do that. Hang on one sec. Okay, it's back in. You have to, actually the best thing to do is to loosen one of these screws and then move this whole thing, just pivot it over, insert it, and then pivot back and put the 2 screws back in. Okay, shall we do the arm lift? How's that? It's under here. We're going to have to remove this shaft. Now we'll move that a little bit over. Okay. So we've got one retaining clip there. It's a really annoying spot. So C-clip, E-clip, remove that. And or maybe I can just remove this screw and screw the C-clip here. Hang on a sec. That would make things a lot easier. Just be careful when you're pulling on things. Sometimes there's springs. Yeah, you don't need to remove that E-clip. Okay? So you can put that back. We're all learning together. Okay, so that's really simple to get at. One screw. Just remember that the peg goes in here. Set that aside. Now, we can remove. Should we remove? I would say we can remove this. Seeing that okay? Yeah. Let's remove this. It just pivots on this one point here, so it shouldn't be a huge issue. And it's it might be a problem getting it out. Yeah, I don't think I'm going to be able to pull this, am I? Not without removing. Yeah, the main cam would have to come out to remove this. Let's see if we can work around it. We'll just put this back for now. You know what? It wouldn't be a bad idea to put a little drop of oil on here. That's a major pivot point. Just a smidge of oil down there just to keep this moving freely. And this here, you can see there's no damping left on this. I'm just hoping I don't have to tear all this apart and that by removing this bolt we'll have access, but I'm not sure at this point. How is that attached? I'm going to say that when I remove that bolt, I should be able to remove the cueing arm all the way through. Okay, so we need to find the correct size, because I know you guys love when I use pliers to remove something. I had one guy say, it'd be nice if you had the right tools for the job. Like a pair of pliers isn't going to remove a nut. Anybody have a guess as to what size that is? It's not five. If it's a freaking 5.5. Yep, So that is what is it, 7:30 seconds? Yep. So when you're removing something like this, be careful. There's always a spring under tension. And it looks like they put some kind of thread locker on this. Is it even turning? Is the shaft turning with it, is the question. No, it's coming. Although something's weird here. Oh, is that a screw? Hang on. I think I got a screw on the top here. So one sec here. I got to get a screwdriver here. This is really, can you even see this? This is really difficult. I got a screwdriver on the top while holding the base of the turntable while I unscrew this nut. It is coming though, and I'm worried that this is going to go flying once that spring lets loose. Come on, what's going on here? Very hard to do. Okay, screw just came loose, so obviously that's not the screw. So, come on. There's our screw. So it's not connected to that nut. What are we looking at here? Sorry if you're not seeing this perfectly. I think it just loosened. What is turning? Something, the shaft is turning, and I'm not sure why. Damn it. Okay, I'm gonna try something here. See if I can get my let's try something thinner. Hold that shaft and unscrew. Nope. Okay, I need to pause because I've got a little conundrum here. I'm going to check for service manual online and I shall return. Okay, just so you know, you do not want to remove the screw on the top because it goes into this peg here, which keeps us from turning. Now you can remove the whole assembly from the top. Here's your spring. Now it's going to want to go careening across the room. Really wish I could get this white thing off here, but probably. Wow. So will that stay? I think that might stay. All we need to do is remove the shaft from the top now, if you can, of course. I don't understand why it's not coming out. Maybe remove the screw now. Well, this is one of the more difficult ones I've done. I am learning. So I'm just removing the screw on the top. Sorry for the camera mess, but it can't be helped. Okay. Now I've removed the screw. Put that aside. What is keeping this puppy from coming out? Is there a nut? Oh, is there a clip there? I'm pulling the spring out. Okay, there's our spring. Holy, that's springy. I can't tell what is keeping this from coming out. This is going to be a nightmare. I mean, I'm thinking this whole assembly should come out to get better access, but I don't think this wants to come out. And it should come out because there's really nothing holding it in there. Oh, there we go. Here's that. And here's this. Oh my God. Here's your piston with no lube left. Give that a quick wipe with some alcohol. That was nasty. That's where that screw goes. The black screw goes right in there. Okay, get your cueing damping fluid and insert in the two notches like that and like that. You can put a little bit here too. Okay, and then you put this back like that. And now you put your spring back. This is going to be a job. This is when you wonder, do people want to see this, or do they want to see you cut and just get to the finished product, right? So that will turn over so we can get the spring on. And then we got to compress the spring. I need 18 fingers for this job. Yeah, this is going to be a nightmare. Okay, I'm not going to bore you to tears. Basically, we need to compress the spring, bring this plate over, knock it down, put the screw back into the top with the lifter, and get this nut back on, okay? So that's probably going to take me a little while. So I'm going to pause here, and I shall return. Okay, putting it back was actually not bad at all. It was a lot easier. It's best to work on this with the cueing in the up position because it releases a little bit of pressure. And you can get that spring in and then flip this plate over the spring. And then what I did is I put the arm lifter mechanism back in, put the screw in, and held the screw while tightening down the little nut. And it's back on, and now we can put this back, which is the trigger for the lifter. Remember, it goes in here. First of all, it goes over that. Maybe we should put the cueing down now, actually. And there, that's better. Yeah, do that with the cueing down. Yeah, we're all learning together here. So I'm going to say that was probably an 8 out of 10 on the hardness scale, the difficulty scale, to replace the cueing fluid. Not an easy job on that one. Now our pitch. Oh yeah, look at our pitch now. Oh yeah, spinning so nice. Beautiful. Okay. So that fader loop's had a chance to do its job. So I think we are good here. The rest of the stuff we're going to do up top. So let me bolt this back together. I'll put the bottom plate back on, and then we'll service the motor, which is just a little bit of oil, and clean the stylus, set it up, and we'll have a listen. All right, we're going to do a motor service here. This is just a little DC motor, and we're going to put a drop of oil underneath the pulley, and it can work its way down into the top bearing. And we're also going to clean the motor pulley itself. It's a little dirty, so you want to plug your turntable in and then just move your arm over so the motor's spinning. I usually put it on 45 for maximum speed, and then grab a Q-tip, a little bit of alcohol, and just let it rest against the pulley. And you're just not the torquiest motor in the world. You're just going to clean that pulley. Just want to remove any grease or oil or old belt crap off of it. And yeah, you'll take some crap off of it. And that's good. Arm back. Might need to adjust our queuing height a little bit on this. And so that's the motor service. It is quieter now. It's not making that noise anymore, which is great. Next, you want to clean the underside of your platter. Again, alcohol is your friend. I don't mean beer. Clean where the belt rides. You want a very clean belt path, so you get maximum friction. That's not too bad, actually. So this belt is relatively new from what I can see here. So we're just going to put that right back on. I think this belt's tight. I really do. I think it's way too tight for this turntable. And the problem with, see, I mean, I can't even get my finger under it. The problem with a belt that's this tight is it's going to be yanked. Look how much it pulls on that. He just bought this belt probably, so, and it's spinning. But I'll let him know that. Platter mat back on, and we can clean our stylus. And I'm going to clean this stylus with a little bit of 70% because I don't know if it's ever been cleaned. And I'm going to recommend to the gentleman that he probably purchase a new cartridge, and that if you'd like me to install that for him, I can do that. But you know, as long as we're here and see what this thing sounds like, we'll clean this one and we'll give it a little sound test. Looks good. Wasn't too dirty. And we'll set up our arm. Let's zoom out. My last, just as a side note here, my last video on the Techniques SL-D2, if you haven't seen that, by all means, check it out. I played a little piece of music at the end, and I could not get that video to upload. It's an old recording. It's a 1977 recording of Miko Monardo. It's called Encounters of Every Kind. It's got Close Encounters at the end, some like disco version of it. And I barely played 2 seconds of this song. At the end of the song, it's supposed to be like a recreation of when the mothership takes off and the little kid saying goodbye or whatever. And that 2 seconds of that goodbye got copyright strike, and it took me 3 tries to remove that, because it doesn't tell you what. It kind of tells you the area where the infraction is, but I didn't know it was that. I thought it was the music, but it was actually the goodbye. It was just ridiculous. Come on, YouTube. Who's listening to this song in 2025, right? I mean, come on. Besides me, using it as a test record for my video. Silly stuff. So unfair. Okay, now let's set up this arm. We're going to set it up for 2 grams, because when in doubt, go 2 grams. All right, so this is going to spin. If you don't feel comfortable doing it when the turntable's spinning, by all means unplug it. So we're just going to balance our arm. Which is right there. We're going to lock it in. We're going to turn our scale to 0. And then we're going to turn it counterclockwise to 2 grams, which is right there. And we're going to turn our anti-skating to the same amount right there. And we're just going to check our speed here, and we're going to check our queuing as well. I think our queuing is a little low. Okay, how's our speed? So we're on 33. We're going to lock our 30. Oh, that's excellent. Actually, you know what? I think we're going to have to adjust the speed, because this 33 control is all the way to the positive here. We got no movement. So this is where you're going to want to, let's do that together while we're here. This is where you're going to, let's check 45 as well. 45 is cranked all the way to positive. So 45 is okay. 45's got plenty of movement to the left and to the right. So we can leave 45. We'll adjust that. Okay, there's 45. So we're not going to touch 45 speed pop. But 33 is a mess. Yeah. Okay, so what we're going to do, this is how I like to do it. So get your control, all right, our 33 control here, and we're going to just count how many rotations from point to point there is. So this is what I do. I go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So 5, okay? So now I'm going to go 2.5, all right? So 2.5 back to go in the middle. So 1, 2.5. Okay, so that's the middle point. So what we want to do now is we want to put that back. Here is our control for 33. It's right there. So we're going to adjust that. Now, the problem with this turntable is the platter is spinning. So we're going to have to stop it. And it's a bit of a pain in the butt. But just grab yourself a flathead screwdriver. And we're just going to adjust that 33. We'll just adjust it back a little bit right now. Let's see if that helps at all. And 33 is right at the bottom. That's probably too fast. So now we gotta forcibly stop this. Turn it back. It's definitely slower. That's way too fast. So you get where I am here, right? So I'm just working this back and forth. So I'm going to adjust that, get it at the right speed, and then I'll be right back for our sound test. All right, let's do our sound test. This is that record, but this is the other side. I want to test the auto return, but I can't do it with that one track. So anyway, let's check it out. cartridge sounds good. Sounds great. Good stereo separation. I can't force the auto return. It does work. I have watched it do it. I just wanted you to see it. But anyway, not going to go through that. Yeah, so I think we're done. This was a pretty interesting repair. If you have one of these, it's a pretty decent table. Make sure you get the right belt size. I think this one's still too tight. And there are some failure points, obviously the queuing, and that is a bit of a job. If you don't feel comfortable taking that apart, bring it to your local service provider. It's not the easiest one I've done. As you saw, I was struggling a little bit, but it's more difficult to remove than to reinstall. Pitch controls, obviously, huge problem. These were almost seized. Now they're working great. Speed switch was cleaned. We redid the main spindle, which was surprisingly in good shape, a little difficult to remove. So I'm going to say this is a fairly advanced turntable to service. It's a bit tricky to get at things. But it sounds pretty decent. It's got the original cartridge. And yeah, we'll give it a thumbs up. It's not bad. It's a little plasticky. And it's got that Sanyo name that so many people do not like. But I like it. I think it's a pretty decent turntable. As long as you're not overpaying for something like this, you know, maybe 100, 150 bucks is what I think something like this should go for. Maybe more if it's got a better quality cartridge on it, but not a bad table. All right, so that's the Sanyo TP-1010. Hope you enjoyed that one, and we'll catch you in the next video. Bye-bye.